Hello, everyone, and here we have a new story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. Write how to improve my community, current topics and the stories you are interested in, and much more. I read and listen to all the comments. People write me stories by mail from different countries. There are problems with translation. I apologize for this. I will work on it and try to fix these errors. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail. Broadcast, news stories. New videos on my channel are published once every 2 days at 7 p.m. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go. Hello, I want to tell you my story. I am 40 years old. I recommend listening to my story to the end. I lived in a big family. I had 2 younger sisters. I married my girlfriend at 27. My father was a very positive person, but he liked to drink, and his mother was always yelling at him. The mother in our family occupied a dominant position. She worked hard and supported our family to a greater extent. My father took a passive position. He worked as a builder and received some money. My mom ran her own business and earned a lot more. But over time, work seriously undermined her health. I will briefly tell you about myself, as my mother said about me. I don't open up to the best of my abilities and always stay in the middle. I can say the same about the people around me. I was often not appreciated until they got to know me better. I have no higher education. As a child, I did not understand in which company I would be comfortable. That's why I often spent time with the bad guys. Now I'm going to tell you about my wife. My wife was from a big family. Her parents got married very quickly. Her father was a tyrant. Everyone was afraid of him. He is a very tough man, but at the same time a little cowardly. However, he had an instinct for self-preservation. My wife's father drank a lot of alcohol and beat everyone. But after a while, he coded and didn't drink for a long time. My wife's mother is an ordinary housewife who tolerates her husband and does not mind. My wife had a very difficult childhood. Therefore, she has complexes about her appearance, ambitions. She is an insecure girl. My wife married me at the age of 22. We've been married for 12 years. We met a long time ago when my wife was still at school. She was my friend's neighbor. After a while, I met her again and asked her out. We fell in love with each other and we started a serious relationship. During the year, we had a good time, and she proposed to me. I was shocked, but I thought it over well and agreed. She often confessed her love to me, hugged me, kissed me. In general, she was happy and said that I was the only man on earth for her. According to her, I made her feel like a girl. Everything was fine in our intimate life. According to my wife, she got orgasms after having sex with me. In the end, I agreed to the wedding. I wanted to live with this girl for the rest of my days and create a family with her. I've already had the experience of living together with a girl. But at that moment, I had no thoughts about marriage and family. By the way, my ex-girlfriend, when she left me, said that I needed to grow up and think about my family. I just wasn't ready to start a family with her. But this valuable experience helped me evaluate my wife by some criteria. I rented an apartment and we started living together. We lived together for 2 years and decided to think about children. For 6 months, we could not conceive a child. My wife went to the doctor and I also went to take tests. After the examination, the doctors make a verdict that everything is fine with both of us. But due to the peculiarities of my wife's physiology, I had to change my position for sex. After some time of our attempts to conceive a baby, everything worked out. I had a long-awaited baby. It was a girl. I was over the moon with happiness, and all our relatives were happy too. Time passed. We moved to another apartment and found ourselves away from our friends and family. We conceived a second child. And again, everyone was happy and congratulated us. I can't say anything bad about my wife during this period. Everything was fine, only minor domestic problems and quarrels. After a while, my wife tells me again that she is pregnant. This caused a shock not only for me, but all our relatives and friends were shocked. I remember that one day I decided not to protect myself during sex with my wife. But I did everything right. In general, not a planned child. But my wife and I decided to keep the baby. Moreover, my wife has always wanted a lot of children. She likes to raise children. She gave them her warmth and care. One day I met a girl at the gym. although I didn't plan any dates. But everything turned out by itself, and I left my email address to the girl. One day, she emailed me that she wanted to have sex and left her phone number. I was shocked, but I never called her, although I was very attracted to her. She was also married and had children. That stopped me, but I also didn't want to cheat on my wife. My wife and I conducted experiments in our intimate life. I did whatever I wanted with her. Therefore, I had no global problems in intimacy. I have a lot of intimate experience. I understood that the sensations are the same, and everything is in your head. Why would I risk everything I have? I dreamed of a perfect family and was a happy person. Some friends and relatives even envied me. My wife and I have always had a pure love relationship in public. I am not a gigolo and not a conqueror of women's hearts. All the girls have always met me by themselves. I just had to take one step towards the girls. I am neither handsome nor rich. Most likely, just charming in communication, no more. I've never promised anything to girls or given them gifts for the sake of intimacy or love. In a word, I am an egoist. But in bed, I directed all my energy at the girl and gave her pleasure. It was the best reward for me. The girls smile after having sex with me. My wife knew about my turbulent past. My sisters told her. They didn't realize that they could ruin my relationship. In general, I remained faithful to my wife. After a while, my wife came across a correspondence with this girl. She made a scandal and even wanted to kick me out of the house. I told my wife that I had nothing with this girl. There was nothing in our correspondence except conversations about our families. But there was a small provocation for sex, which I described above. But my wife didn't believe me. When the youngest daughter went to school, I began to take her to the other side of the city. In the morning, my wife always cooked breakfast and gathered the children for school. After a while, I noticed that my wife started behaving strangely. It was like she had found a new boyfriend. For a long time, I tried to put pressure on my wife to confess. In the end, she confessed, but said that there was nothing but correspondence between them. This guy was my friend. He fucked my wife in a holy place for me. My favorite bitch took off her panties without thinking about the fact that her husband and children are nearby. My wife liked to have sex with him. She stayed at home for a very long time. Perhaps that's why she had thoughts of trying something new. It seems to me that she took revenge on me because of my correspondence with this girl. This guy also complimented my wife, which she hadn't heard them from me for a long time. In general, my wife had sex with him more than once. 1 hour was enough for my wife to go to him to have sex and return home. Despite the fact that during this period, we also had sex with her. But the girl can't hide that she has a lot of sex. This is immediately evident from the girl. My wife told me everything herself. She cried and begged for forgiveness. She said she would understand me if I left. I stayed in the family for the sake of the children, but I also wanted to sort out this situation. I needed information. I tormented my wife with questions for a long time. At the same time, I was very worried myself. I have a rich enough imagination to imagine what he was doing to my wife. As a result, I found out that at the beginning of our relationship, my wife had sex with her first boyfriend. It was her first love. He left her for another girl, but that didn't stop my wife. My wife had sex with him when we were trying to conceive a child. Now I want to do a DNA test. The other two are my children. There's no doubt about that, but at least that's what I think. My wife is very remorseful and asks for forgiveness. I decided to talk to her first boyfriend. He wrote me messages that my wife is a girl of easy virtue. I agreed with him. But when I gave this message to my wife to read, she threw a tantrum. She trusted him, and he said so many bad things about her. What a fool she is. I tried to explain to her who people would take her for. We didn't have any problems in our intimate life. Her motivation is to feel something new with another man. That is, a whore, in a word. She just ruined my idea of family. She had no moral principles when she had sex with a married man. She had no moral principles when she spread her legs in front of my friend. Anyway, I told her right to her face what I thought. I advised my wife to seek peace in everyday life. I only recently realized that I need to file for divorce and stop communicating with my wife. Yes, I know I have 3 children, but I'm not going to live next to a traitor. Anyway, we got divorced and I live alone. I don't want to start a serious relationship yet. Maximum flirting and sex is all I want. My wife goes to see a therapist. The last time I saw her, I felt sorry for her. I do not forget about the children and help them. By the way, a DNA test. One child is not mine at all. I wasn't wrong. That's the whole story, friends. If you liked it, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel in order not to miss new videos. Now let's move on to the opinion of the author of the channel. The opinion of the author of the channel. First of all, I want to wish strength and patience to the main character. After listening to your story, I will say that you did everything right. Yes, maybe you're flirting with a girl somehow pushed your wife to cheat, but you didn't cheat on her. And that's a fact. Therefore, in no case, do not think that you are to blame for something. You have a chance to build a new life. Just take this chance. Your wife got what she deserved. Live for yourself and in your own satisfaction. Do not forget your children when they grow up. They will understand everything themselves. A person has two lives. The second life begins when a person realizes that she is only one. If you have watched to the end, I want to say thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.